welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another entrepreneur chat. Today we are going to be talking about all things handmade planners and journals, the pros, the cons, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to be talking about it, especially if this is something that you have been thinking about for a while. If you've been following me here on my channel for any length of time, then you know that handmade products is something that I have done for years. I've shared the process, I've talked about it, I've created a course on it, and so I really wanted to just kind of help you decide, especially with planner season coming up. It's a lot of the time when people start to think about, I should have made my planner, or I should have created that thing. This is the time when that starts to happen, especially with the new year. If this is something that you have been wanting to do and you're really wanting to hear the nitty gritty of like, okay, what all does this really take to do? Then this is going to be a video you are going to want to stick around for. If you're new here, my name is Tatiana. I'm a business coach and a mentor, and I love to help you get out of your own way when it comes to going for the things you have on your heart, especially when it comes to entrepreneurship and just doing things that you have truly dreamed of. We are here to encourage one another. I love to uplift and share my personal journey along the way. And so I'm very, very excited to talk about this topic today because it is one that has really given me the freedom to run my business in a way that has worked for me over the years when I didn't necessarily have the funds to just go all in on a huge inventory, or maybe I didn't want to do that, right? Or maybe I had the desire to want to do something a little bit different than the norm. And I really think that this is a great opportunity for us to touch on some of those things. So first things first, I'm going to be pulling a lot of this information directly out of my Handmade evaluation guide. And if you do not have that, what are you doing? Okay, it is a free guide that I created. The link will be down below. Once you put your email address in, you'll get it and you can download it immediately. It's going to ask you some questions that will help you decide if this process is really for you. Once you watch this video, you'll have some things to think about, and then it takes it even a step further so that you can see like, okay, is this actually the route that I want to take? Or do I want to look into something more like manufacturing? So first of all, when I'm talking about handmade planners and journals, the first thing I want you to picture is if you run your business or your future business from home, maybe you have a small office space, maybe you have a warehouse, whatever the case may be, handmade products looks very different depending on what you are doing. And so it doesn't always mean that it has to just be like you and this hole punch. It could mean that it's still you in a heavy duty machine, but you are doing it yourself by hand. And so I just wanted to kind of point that out. When you think of handmade, there's a lot of different routes you can go. There's a lot of different types of equipment that you can use that will help to expedite the process. It will help you to make the quality a lot better. And there's options of ways that you can take some of the things off of your plate so that there's a little bit less that you have to do. This is some of the things over the years that I have played around with that have really helped me to make the process more enjoyable, because at the end of the day, first of all, let's get the elephant out of the room. It's labor, okay? It's hands-on. It's your hands making it, okay? So that is going to come with a level of time and commitment and patience that not everyone will have. But if you have a desire to want to do this, I really wanted to dive into, first of all, what are some of the cons that come along with the handmade process? And then we will tie it up with a little bow with the pros, okay? So we're going to kind of get the bad stuff out of the way first, and then we're going to get into the good stuff. And as I mentioned, make sure you get your hands on the Handmade evaluation guide if you don't have it already. This pros and cons list is actually in there, and it's a great tool for you to use and follow along right with this video if you want to with me. So the first con, I think, kind of goes without saying, but it definitely takes up a lot of time, and it can also be pricey as well. I think sometimes there is this misconception that going handmade means that it's cheaper, and that's just definitely not the case. Typically, because depending on where you are sourcing the different materials that you use, whether that be paper, coils, the book board that you might use for the cover, your lamination products and different things, all of those things cost and they add up. And when you are trying to create volume where you want to do 50, 100, 300, 500, 1,000 of these things, the materials start to add up. So I want you to just kind of get out of your head right now that, okay, this is the affordable route to go, because you are going to be investing in not only those materials, but also the equipment that is going to allow for you to use those materials effectively. So that's things like your cutters, your binding machine, that might be a printer if you don't have one already, ink for the printer, laminators. There's so many things that you might find yourself investing in over the course of your handmade creation process. So definitely keep that in mind, that it is pricey and it will take up a lot of time, right? Because you are making these products by hand. So that's something to definitely think about when you are going into this. First off, do I have the time, right? Do I have the funds to be able to do this and be able to invest in the equipment? I think one thing that I do love about it though is that when you do purchase these items, it's things that last. So my heavy duty cutter, it lasts. I've had it for years. My binding machine, the cinch, it lasts. I've had it for years. And so that is one thing to keep in mind, is you're making an investment and it's something that will definitely pay for itself over time. But in the beginning, it could be like ka-ching, 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 like just out, money out your pocket. And it can feel like, oh, this is a little bit more than I anticipated. So in addition to it taking up a lot of the funds, the equipment is also, of course, going to take up a lot of physical space. So again, depending on where you are planning to do this, a lot of the women that I've talked to over the years, they are running their business right out of their home. They're trying to come up with a space where they might be able to do it, whether it's an office space or a room they have dedicated to it, or if it's trying to find some space within the dining room or in their bedroom. Everyone's situation is different. And so if this is something you are considering, I want you to keep in mind that you need to have room to do this. You want to be able to have a flat surface that you can lay these materials out, that you can troubleshoot and really come up with all of the different things that you want to do in order to make it run smoothly. You have cutting machines as well that you might be using. I use, for example, the Silhouette Portrait, the Silhouette Cameo. You might have a Cricut. These are different things that all require you to have somewhere to either store them, that you can pull them out, or have them readily available for you to use as you create your products. So if you are thinking about this, start looking around your house, looking around the area where you think you want to create these at, and figure out where you can kind of create your little planner journal creation oasis. Another con, but also can kind of be seen as a pro as well, which we'll talk about, is that there are a lot of possibilities, and sometimes it can almost feel endless at times. Because you are choosing to make something yourself, you run into, wow, there's a lot of paper I can choose from. Wow, there's a lot of layouts I might want to do when it comes to designing this thing. Okay, there's a lot of binding options. What do I want to do? Do I want it to be spiral bound? Do I want it to be perfect bound? What is the end look that you're trying to go for? As you start to do that, you'll start to see like, oh, do I want corners on this thing? Do I want it to be gold foil? All of these things can be created in-house, which is really, really cool because so many amazing people have created products and tools and equipment and things that allow for you to make all of this stuff at home. But keep in mind that as you start to add on all of these additions, that is more time that it'll take for you to create it. But just the fact that you have the freedom and flexibility to do it, it's a wonderful thing, but it can also feel overwhelming. And at times it can feel like, you know what, maybe this is too much. And then lastly, you are the middleman. Everything is going to fall on you. So there isn't going to be a whole lot of working with other people typically in this process, unless you are like me and you choose to outsource some of the pieces and parts of your process. If it's strictly going to be you, you are the middleman, right? So it's not like you can be like, oh, I'm waiting on so-and-so to give me this before I can do this step. It's kind of like you are so-and-so, okay? You are the line guy. You are the person that is putting the covers together. You're the person that's printing it out. You're the person that's cutting them. And so because of that, when you think of all of the different things that I've said as far as the cons, and then you add on the just pressure of you being the person that is solely creating this thing from start to finish, that can be stressful. And it can be something that's very rewarding and exciting as you put them together. But I feel like I can't go without saying that it is a level of pressure that comes with creating really any handmade products for that matter. But specifically for this process, it's something that you do want to think about and consider, because especially if you get a high volume of orders, if it's peak time, you got to be on your P's and Q's and ready to go to get these products out. Okay, so now that we have got that out of the way, we got that bad energy out of the way, let's talk about some of the great things about handmade products, because there are a lot of them. One of the main reasons that I decided to go the handmade route was customization. In my business, I love to give people the opportunity to put their name on things, or their business name, or a quote, or whatever it is that they prefer. And I found that when I was looking at manufacturers that I might be working with potentially overseas, that option was kind of limited for me because I couldn't necessarily order just one with someone's name on it from China, right? Typically, they have a minimum order where I might have to get 300 or 500 or something like that. And so automatically I started to think about the limitation that brought for me. And also, I wasn't sure if that was what I wanted to do, especially with it being my first time with my planners. The very first time around, and even over the years, I've always wanted to be able to give some level of extra things that I could throw in there that I couldn't necessarily do one by one with a manufactured product. And so that is definitely a pro, is just that you have a lot more creative control when it comes to things. So if you are a person that loves to do personalization, if you want people to be able to make their own covers or decide what they want to go on their cover, you really open up the possibilities for that, because now you're doing it in-house and you can come up with the process of how that will look for them. You can have them pay accordingly for that as well, because it is a personalized product. But that's really one of the cool benefits about being able to make the product by hand, because you can really add those little special embellishments and personalization things that you just may not be able to do in the manufactured route. Another pro is that you can make real-time changes on the spot. So let's just say that you have done your first run of your journal, right? It's out, everybody's loving it, they're enjoying it, but you notice that there might have been a typo somewhere, or you notice that there's something that you wish you would have done a little bit differently on the layout. If you would have gotten, let's say, 300 of those things, it would be kind of hard for you to make a change immediately for anyone that was to purchase it moving forward. But with the handmade process, what that allows you to do is kind of order things in increments that you choose, or make things in increments that you choose. So then at some point, you kind of have a moment where you can make any changes that you see necessary. So even if you have dated products, this is another great example of that. If you come out with a calendar year product, and let's say we're hitting February, March, and you're like, okay, January is kind of past, we're kind of getting past that first quarter, I think I want to update the calendars in my planner, and now I want to offer them starting in April. This is the type of freedom that you have with that as well. You can make changes at any time, and that allows for you to change and make it feasible and make it relevant for people as they are wanting to purchase things. Especially dated products is one of the things I find that it's very helpful with. But errors that you may find later, layout changes, all of that stuff can happen, and this is a great way for you to be able to make the changes along the way as you go. Another really nice benefit to doing handmade is that you have a lot of control over your inventory. So you can decide if you want to take a week and you want to get 50 made, for example, right? You want to have 50 of them ready to go, and then you want to sell through those. You can decide if you want them to be made to order, especially if you're doing that personalization route. You can decide if you want there to be a pre-order where you kind of get everything and all of your materials together, and then you have people purchase the planners, which then allows for you to be able to get them made for them. There's so many different options that you have with the handmade route, and with you having control of your inventory in that way, it allows for you to not just be sitting on a ton of inventory if you don't want to, and it gives you that flexibility to say, okay, I think for this run, I'm going to go ahead and do this amount. We'll see how it goes. You can make those on the spot changes, and then you can continue to keep it going as the season goes on, as your year goes on with your business. And I think that that's a really, really nice benefit, because it's nothing like having just inventory that is sitting, right? And so you can definitely kind of see the ebbs and flows of what people like and what they purchase, and that'll start to give you a good idea of how you can hand make the products, have them ready to ship when someone places an order, and it continues to just get better as you go. And finally, one of the last pros is that you just get to be very hands-on with this process, and it truly is made from the heart. That is one of the things I love, even though sometimes it can be overwhelming or it can feel like a lot of work, especially when I'm in peak planner or journal season, just launching something. It definitely is a lot of work, but there is no better feeling than finally kind of getting that product created, putting it together, putting that last little bit of extra embellishments on there, and getting it packaged up to ship out to a customer. I love the hands-on element of it. I love the personalization that I can add. I love all of the little small details and things that I add to just make it feel like it is specifically made just for them. And I think that there is nothing like that feeling. I think in general, just having your own product that you have been thinking about for so long and finally having it in your hands and being able to send it out to others is such a gift that people don't always talk about. And to then take it a step further and to know that, wow, this is something that I actually made myself, it just really gives you that extra feeling of like warmth inside. And I love that. And so that is also another pro that comes to making your planners or journals by hand. So now, from what I have shared with you, I gave you the bad, I gave you the good, I gave you the in between. What are you feeling? Are you still kind of like, yes, this is the route I want to go? Are you like, girl, no, that's too much for me? This is a great time for you to really sit with all the information you have. Make sure you grab that evaluation guide and find out if this is really the route that you want to go. And if it is, I wanted to share the exciting news that the Handmade Masterclass is officially coming back. I am in the process of revamping this course right now. The course is officially open for pre-sale and it is at an early bird rate. And that will give you the opportunity to get in at a really good discount and before all of the excitement and everything starts. So not only are you going to get this amazing course that I created a couple years ago, lots of brand new tutorials, updates to things. It's just getting an entire refresh, you guys. So many additions are coming and I am just really, really excited for all of the changes. So many things. I've learned so much over the years and I really wanted to make sure that I poured that into the course. And so if this is a process that you've been thinking about, I really want you to check out the Handmade Masterclass because I think you are going to find just what you're looking for in it. And then if you're wanting a little extra support as well, I have an option for you to add on, and this is the Blueprint Group Coaching Package. It is absolutely amazing because I will have an opportunity to work with you and a small group of ladies intimately where we'll get a chance to meet together for 3 months. I will be doing some very in-depth coaching calls talking all about the process, not only the technical logistics of, the binding and putting it together. I will answer those questions, but I want to help you with some of the other things that come up as you go through the process. Like, how do you want to launch this thing? What is a pre-sale? How do you set that up? What's shipping gonna look like? How can you package this appropriately and profitably? How can you price this thing, so that it actually will make you money and not be too ridiculous for customers? We talk about it all, and you're gonna have a training every single month that will allow for you to be able to work through some of those questions that you have. And then at the end of each call, there's a period for us to do a Q&A together for you to ask me literally anything under the sun to help you set yourself up for success as you continue along in this journey. I also have some fun bonuses too. I have a planner template that I created and I'm super excited about it because it will allow for someone to get the template and basically have a starting point when it comes to designing their planner. Sometimes you might sit down, you want to make this thing, but you just need this to get you started, or you just need XYZ to kind of help you get out of your head. This template is going to be that. And then on top of it, I also have a little secret bonus training that's going to be inside that I'm not sharing too much about, but it's going to be in there and it's going to be exclusive for the ladies that get the Blueprint Coaching Package. So check it out. The links for everything are down below. The evaluation guide, which is free, the information about the course if you want to sign up right now during our early bird period. It's just a lot of good stuff going around. I'm so excited to support you on this journey, whether you decide to go that route or not. And I really, really hope that no matter what, whatever it is that you have been wanting to create, the time is now, okay? The time is of the essence. It is time for us to get out of our way and do the thing. So thanks for watching this video. I hope it was helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.